When we went fishing that day. Senior told me this story. When seniors were young. Runs a fishing company. One day there was the captain of a trawler. Suddenly anxious to contact him. He didn't know until he asked. The captain said that a crew member named Jack died on board. It's unusual to die. Although the senior is not clear. What the hell happened? Anyway, he told the captain. I can understand the chaotic mood of my companions after death. But as the captain, don't panic. Be calm. Then he immediately ordered the company's people to go to the port. He himself went to the port. Once at the port, he saw Jack's body sleeping peacefully on the boat. Because he died on the boat. So the police conducted an interrogation and a death autopsy. In the meantime, senior to the captain and ship doctor asked what happened. The testimony of the captain and the people on board is like this. Jack caught one at noon the day before he died. Fish they have never seen before. It's a kind of black and bright. And it's a big fish. The captain said, I have been fishing for so long. Never seen a fish like that before. It looks disgusting. And Jack said he wanted to taste the taste of that fish. So I caught the black fish on the boat. All the crew kept persuading. It's disgusting, stop it. But Jack didn't listen to the advice. I dealt with the black fish with a kitchen knife. When he slashed the knife on the fish actually made a terrible sound. No mistake. That fish really made a sound. Everyone heard it. It was a kind of wailing sound. Because it feels so weird and disgusting. Everyone told Jack to throw the fish away. Although everyone said that, he still didn't listen. That black fish was cut in half like this. They saw that the flesh inside was snow white. Although the meat of the black fish looks delicious. But because I keep hearing strange screams from fish. So everyone dare not eat. Jack was the only one in the crew who ate it. He bit the body of the fish while talking, it's delicious, it's delicious. The other crew members felt disgusting. Because no one wants to eat. So, only half of the black fish were thrown into the sea. The next morning, a crew member shouted on the deck. Hello, look there. Behind the boat. The captain looked at the back of the ship. I found that the half-length black fish actually followed up. At first I thought I was hooked by something or something. But this is not the case. That half-length black fish. It looks like he swam to the stern by his own strength. The captain said he was thinking. The internal organs and everything are removed. Only half of the fish are left, why is it? While the captain was still in shock. Another crew member's face changed drastically and he screamed. He ran out of the boat and said, Jack is dead. Jack is dead. The captain ran to Jack's sleeping room in a panic. There is a corpse that looks dry and flat. Lying on the bed in a sleeping posture. Jack's body became as dry and flat as a mummy. The ship doctor took a look at the situation later. I think Jack's cause of death was aging. Although Jack is in his 40s. But what it looked like when he died. Just like an old man in his 100s. Crumpled dry flat. The ship's medical camera took pictures of the body. And the crew is in a great chaos of fear. So the captain. I hurriedly contacted the senior president. That's what happened. Later, the police asked the ship doctor to show him the picture. The senior said that he also saw the photo together at the time. I can only say that the crew member in the photo. It's really as dry as a mummy. he said the moment he saw the photo. I was so scared that I almost screamed out. But weird. Jack's body was seen in the port, but it was very clean. Just like falling asleep. No trauma. Is the appearance of a normal person. Completely different from the photo. Later, after judicial dissection, Jack was treated as a sudden heart failure. And the photos taken at that time were sent back to the seniors. Later, Senior didn't give the photo to Jack's parents. See with other relatives. Because that's really weird. And it's uncomfortable to watch. Also think it's unlucky. So the senior and the captain's ship doctor. They destroyed the photos. Actually, after I heard it, I was skeptical. I asked him that there is such a thing. Senior said. This is true. Those people present at that time were still alive. And now they are all big bosses. The captain is now the president of an aquatic processing company. The owner is the president of a large refrigeration company. The policeman at the time seemed to be still working as a policeman in Niigata. Those who have seen the photos can testify. Although I didn't verify it later. What the senior said is true or false. But I'd rather believe. There may really be things in the sea that humans can't touch. That summer, when I was in 6th grade, my great-grandmother was still alive, well over 100 years old. I remember the trip vividly, the journey from Okinawa Island to Amami Oshima, a half-day ferry ride away. It was an exciting adventure, but also a daunting one, as I knew I would have to face a challenging night. As night fell and everyone settled into sleep, I suddenly realized I needed to use the restroom. I had to traverse the deck to reach the facilities in another section of the ferry. In the dim light, I spotted a transparent booth-like structure with a woman inside, her back to me. She gave off an eerie vibe, and my heart raced as I hurried past her, trying not to make eye contact. Her appearance was unsettling, wearing tattered clothes, disheveled hair, and cradling a worn-out doll. She muttered to herself incessantly. I felt an overwhelming sense of dread and hastened my pace, eager to reach the restroom in the other section of the ferry. After relieving myself, I faced the daunting task of returning to my section, once again passing by the mysterious woman. As I walked briskly along the deck, I could feel her gaze following me, her muttered words growing louder and faster. That child is a bad child, she repeated, sending shivers down my spine. I quickened my pace, desperate to escape her presence, and finally reached my relatives in the safety of our section. The next day, as I disembarked from the ferry, I couldn't shake off the fear that she might still be lurking somewhere on board. To this day, I remain haunted by the memory of that nightmarish encounter. It taught me the power of fear and the instinctual response it evokes in us. I will never forget the chilling presence of that woman and her ominous words, "That child is a bad child." When I was walking along the seaside late one night, I suddenly heard the laughter of children mixed in with the sound of the waves. I stopped in my tracks and looked towards the sea, but the pitch-black night prevented me from seeing clearly, so I could only listen to the faint sound. A few nights later, as I passed by the sea again, the children's voices echoed in the waves once more. Determined not to miss this opportunity, I focused on the source of the sound, trying to locate those children. In the distance, I spotted a small boat, but it was empty. A sense of unease crept over me. Back home, I asked my father about these strange occurrences. After a moment of silence, he began to tell me a legendary tale. Long ago, there was a ruthless and cruel fisherman in our village who treated the children who helped him fish very harshly. He used brutal methods to make them work, even tying ropes around their necks to prevent them from escaping and subjecting them to severe punishment. His cruelty led to the deaths of many children. One day, he took a group of them out to sea to fish, but they never returned. Since then, villagers often heard the cries of children at night or saw an empty boat drifting on the sea. After hearing this story, I felt a chill run down my spine. I decided to pray for those innocent children every time I passed by the seaside, hoping they would find peace. As time passed, I became a respected elder in the village. Every evening, I stood silently by the sea, gazing into the distance, praying for those children who had lost their lives. One day, as I stood by the sea once again, I suddenly felt a warm sensation, as if those children had finally found release, their souls drifting in the sea breeze, finding their own place of rest. I felt a sense of comfort, knowing that my prayers had finally been answered. Since then, we no longer heard the cries of children by the sea, nor did we see the empty boat. I knew that those children had found release, their souls forever at peace in the embrace of the sea.